So today's video, as you can see by the title, is gonna be an entry model that I love using. It's gonna be a short, simple video. I'm sure if you trade ICT, or if you traded ICT, if you don't trade anymore, but you should be familiar with the unicorn model, and that's what I'm gonna be talking about today. Something that I enjoy using out of all the other models. Like to complicate things, so I don't like adding a lot of models, you could say, but I do have a lot of confluences. Understanding what's happening in the market is always the best thing to have. And then obviously your set entry model, if you have one, people could trade discretionally and not have a set model, trade off of confluences, which is pretty much what I do most of the time. But the model that I'll always take and that shows up for me the most is the unicorn model. Now, what is a unicorn model? If you're asking and don't know what it is a breaker. So if you don't know what a breaker is, if you don't know any of these concepts, go watch ICT first. Obviously, the source of everything. Go watch ICT, a breaker, and the fair value gap. So when a fair value gap and a breaker overlap, like right here, and if you guys are struggling to learn what breakers are or see them in the market, there's this nice indicator on TradingView called Breaker Blogs. Looks Algo. It's pretty good. I don't really need it. I just have it here. To be honest, I haven't taken it off since I was learning it like months ago. But it is nice to see it when you're kind of focused on other things. But like for this case right here, breaker right here, and what a breaker is, so it puts in a low, a high, and then it closes below this low. Like right here, once this closes, which close right here, this is the breaker. So right here would be a unicorn model entry, the fair value gap plus the breaker. So you anticipate price to get in here, tap, and then target wherever you would want. So obviously, just with anything else, the higher the time frame, the stronger the PDA rate will be. Higher the time frame, whatever price is doing, will wanna go towards. So always look at the higher time frame. Breaker blocks work on the lower time frame as well, just like anything else. But the thing is, if you're anticipating price to be bearish, like right here, and you're looking at this 15-minute breaker, you can possibly find one on the lower time frame that possibly hit before anyways, to follow this higher time frame narrative, right? So we could probably drop down to the 5-minute. There might not be one there, but like right here, low, high, low. There's a breaker right here, and it doesn't get tapped into, but it taps into this fair value gap, which again, this is a unicorn model. Obviously, this one would probably be ideal, probably 50% of the range as well. Which again, adding all these confluences in which is gonna make your entry, as good as it can get, basically. We could possibly go to the 1 minute and find a breaker as well. So yeah, like just immediately right here, it shows like so. There is a few. Like what I would be looking here is around here because of macro, but this is the breaker. We do end up closing it here, but the reason why I wouldn't take this personally, because again, if you look at the higher time frame, there's a 5-minute fair value gap here that was not touched at this point. Yeah, disrespects it, but again, we want, which I believe as well, from this high to, was it this low that I was targeting in the morning? I seen it, because this is a trade that happened literally earlier. I didn't take it, but I was looking at it. It taps in to the fair value at plus 62 mark, which again, if you guys know these confluences and these what's the word? My mind's blanking, but if you guys know all these and put them together, it will make your trade, your entry, way stronger. So again, I was looking at this, but again, I already taken a trade. I took my win, and tomorrow is FOMC, so no need to overtrade. Um, Again, this could have not worked out, but I waited for that. Then you can use this as a breaker. We close below it. Because again, a breaker is just an order block that fails, right? That's really what a breaker is. And this was an order block. As you can see, we displaced below it, and then what you can do, you find a fair value gap. There's really none except this one up here, but again, we probably won't anticipate price to tap into anything over here anymore. But there is a fair value gap right here again that it taps into. So what you could have possibly looked for, stop above these. Either what I like to do on the 1 minute mainly for breakers is I like to keep my entry at like the 50%, maybe a little below. Stop depending where we are in the market and how I'm feeling. Like there's a fair value gap here. I would want to put it at least above the fair value gap. Right here, I'm gonna put it above the high. A little more breathing room for my stop loss, but like right here is fine as well. And if you really want, you really could just leave it right there for crazy RR, but realistically right here is fine. Or you could just go like this, same thing. But yeah, I like to keep at the 50%. And right here, I probably would have waited again because there's this fair value gap here. So taps into it. There's a breaker down here as well, which again, breaker. These are all like breaker, and again on the 5 minute is probably cleaner. Like that's what we seen. That's a breaker. Once it closes right here, that's a breaker. And then that's fair value gap. So unicorn. Okay, we go to another day and then find another one. And again, you want to be looking for these types of models, entries, based on what you trade, how you trade. Obviously, I love trading with macros. So, 10 a.m., 9:55. Those little intervals of 20 minutes of start, or the end of the hour and the start of the hour plus 10 minutes. Obviously the New York session. You want to trade those. That's when you'll get the highest probability setups, and you'll see them. But here, right here, I just know, like this is a breaker right here as well. A bullish one, by the way. And what is in here? Fair value gap. Unicorn model, perfect. Look. Target there. Target is high. Right there. Just look at it's simple. It's simple. You look for the breaker. You look for the fair value gap. Taps into it around 130, which again, another macro. So it's like, it's simple. It's simple, and that's why I like it. The name kind of throws it off. You kind of think of it like, what are you talking about? Unicorn. The same thing with like turtle soup and ICT naming. Some of these things, it's understandable for people who just start trading to kind of get confused. But again, if you just watch it, I would suggest watching Johnny. It's Johnny on YouTube. His videos, because he explains the unicorn perfectly. Like honestly, I know that's one of his set models, but dude, the unicorn, it's probably one of the best, models in my opinion. This is a breaker as well, right here. And what does it do? Respects it perfectly. It runs up all the way to those highs up here. And that can't even be a unicorn model as well. There's a fair value gap as well. Why is it right here? But yeah, like you wouldn't want to trade this though. This is like, I don't know. But there's a breaker right here that's shown as well. Like, what does it do? I don't know if it taps into it. No, it doesn't tap into it, but no. So yeah, I'm just gonna demonstrate it as well right here. So say sweeps low, taps into a fair value gap, pushes above, boom. So yeah, let's just say it, swept the low down here, pushes up, leaves a fair value gap. So once it closes above this high, that is your breaker. So you want to be looking for your breaker around here. And then there might be fair value gap right here as well. Make this red just so it's a different color. But so again, your entry is going to be somewhere between the, like if there's a fair value gap and a break overlapping like this, I kind of like just putting it in the middle of the fair value gap. Stops below the breaker. And then, you just let price do what it has to do. But that's ideally what it should look like. Something like that. You'll know it once you keep backtesting this. You keep seeing it more often. You'll see breakers. It's basically for a bullish one, it's gonna be a low, a high, a lower low, and then a high that closes above. Once it closes above, expect to retrace down, and then the same thing is gonna be for the bearish. So bearish example, again, you anticipate price to put in a high, a low, high, close below the low. Once it closes below the low, you could be looking for, like, let's say here, this was the breaker instead of, or we could go here. Why is it not letting me? I don't know, but say this right here was where it was. So once it closes below here, that is your breaker. For bearish example, obviously. That's pretty much it for this video. If you are looking for something to trade or for a model, you trade ICT or you're just getting into it, look into the unicorn model. Probably one of the best entry models. It's simple, it's clean. Probably one of the best entry models. It's simple, it's clean. It's seen in the market pretty much every day. I mean, once you really notice it, you're like, wow, like this happens almost every day. And also the thing with breakers, a breaker kind of confirms a reversal. So if you pair that with SMT, let's say it taps into a higher time frame key level as well, you can pair that for a reversal as well. So just remember that breaker can also be seen as like a market structure shift, change in state, whatever. It just changes the way market is moving. Just think of it as that. If you're struggling to understand what a breaker is, think of it like that, and you'll understand it way more. So if you like this video, comment, sub, leave a like. Let me know what I should post. Follow my TikTok. I'll be posting updates on my trading on there and other things. So follow that, please, please, please. Anyways, I love y'all. If y'all watch this, y'all go study.